So let's just jump straight into this series and what it's about and what you want people to know if they are not familiar with this show just yet.
Well,
Stanley.
yeah, I mean, it's a six-part series that's based on based on a true story, but it's kind of loosely based on a true story. And there was a graphic novel from which it came too. Um, it About a guy who is a treasure hunter in the vein of a sort of contemporary Indiana Jones, which is how he sees himself. Towards the end, we realized that maybe that's not really who he is. It's not quite that moral.
Right. And so how
But
did you
it's basically the story of this. There's this gold from this shipwreck, a Spanish ship that sank, 500 years ago, and he figures out where it is, and then is going to keep it. And the Spanish government says, "Wait a minute, that's ours," and it becomes this this sort of war between them of who's going to be able to keep that gold, and it becomes quite litigious and emotional.
and so what attracts you to something like this when it's placed in front of you where you say, okay, I'll do that for you.
I'd never played a character like that. I thought it was really, I thought he was really interesting, and he was very complicated, and he had a lot of good in him, but the circumstances allowed the not so good in him
Mhm.
to come to the surface.
And so do you have like an interest in real life in, you know, these sorts of, I guess, baubles or trinkets or whatever you're looking for in this
I'm
show?
fascinated. Yeah, I'm fascinated by
Collectibles?
archaeology. I'm fascinated by archaeology,
Hmm.
and I'm fascinated by anything that. In fact, well, I live in London, so there's a thing that you do in London, or that some of us do,
Yes.
sort of nerdier ones like me. We go mudlarking, and mudlarking is where you walk along the foreshore of the Thames, and you find whatever the river decides to give you, or uh, and it's fascinating because London is so old, founded by the Romans, that people find anything from Roman times to uh, Saxon, early Viking uh, swords, trinkets, all the way through Victorian era. Uh, it's kind of incredible what you'll end up finding in the Thames.
Okay, so you're walking the Thames
Yeah,
and some I guess ancient treasure of some sort will
yeah,
just be in the mud. Like what have you found
yeah,
during this
yeah.
trip?
You find mostly you find a lot of clay pipes that date from a whole bunch of different eras.
Hmm.
And because clay pipes were basically they were disposable, right? Like a cigarette.
Hmm.
So then people use them for a couple hundred years. So you always find pieces of clay pipe, and you find it even in soil, like the soil that they'll use to fill your garden, your backyard. If you dig in there, you're definitely going to find pieces of tile, crockery, pottery. You're going to find definitely pieces of pipe, either the bowl of the pipe or the stem of the pipe. And then you find beautiful glass bottles. You'll find belt buckles. You'll find, people find swords. People find everything.
Swords. There's a
Yeah, I'm talking about like Viking swords. There was somebody who found they believe it was a Viking sword in Putney, which is the next about 2 miles down the road. It's kind of incredible what they uncover.
so what do you
If
do?
you
You
just go
call
on go on the internet, and just look up mudlarking,
okay,
and
and
there's
then
a
you just
woman named Laura Maitland, and
mhm.
she's like sort of the queen of the mudlarks. She's written a couple of books about it, and it's very beautiful. Her first book was really beautiful. But it's that kind of stuff, the digging back into history, that I find fascinating, and that's one of the reasons why La Fortuna to me was really interesting.
So they found the right 4-time Emmy Award winning mudlarker for this project. Is that what you're saying, Stanley?
Yeah, without question. Yeah, I do it. I take my son and I, he's 7, we go down and just down the river's right here, just half a block away. So we go down when the tide is low. It's a little stinky.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.